We all do. Our next story is about Macduff. Macduff Comes Home by Rosemary Wells, illustrated by Susan Jeffers. And this is published by Hyperion Books. Macduff's corner of the garden was just under the kitchen window where he could hear the voices of the people he loved. There Macduff relaxed and breathed in all the wonderful smells that escaped from the window. The snappy smell of Fred's frying sausages, the velvety smell of Lucy's vanilla rice pudding. Those are yummy smells. One day the window was closed. There was nothing to smell or hear. Suddenly Macduff saw something move in the neighbor's garden. It was a fat rabbit. Zoom went the rabbit through the zinnias. Macduff squeezed through the fence after it. His collar and his tag got caught on the fence. Snap went his collar, and it fell off behind him. The rabbit zigzagged over the neighbor's lawn and whizzed across the street. Macduff zigzagged and whizzed too. Over hills and streets and flower beds, the rabbit scurried and skedaddled with Macduff right on his tail until it found a hole and shot in. Macduff could not follow. Macduff was so tired from chasing the rabbit that he lay down in someone's vegetable garden and fell asleep. When Macduff woke up, he looked around. He could not see his kitchen window. He could not smell sausages or vanilla rice pudding. He could not hear any voices he knew. Mrs. Higgins came out to weed her garden. "Who's that under my eggplants?" she asked. Mrs. Higgins looked for Macduff's collar and tag and could not find them. "We will go to the police station," she said, "and see if anyone is there to pick you up." Mrs. Higgins drove Macduff up Main Street and down Pine Road and over the bridge to Oak Lane. Suddenly Macduff smelled vanilla rice pudding. "Woof!" said Macduff. Mrs. Higgins turned left. Then Macduff heard someone he loved calling his name. "Woof!" said Macduff. She turned right. Then he saw his own house at number 7 Elm Road. Lucy and Fred were calling for him. "Woof, woof," he said, and Mrs. Higgins stopped. "His collar is gone," said Lucy. "How did you know where to bring him?" "I guess I understand dog language," she said. Everyone was hungry. Lucy made some apple pie and sandwiches. Fred gave Macduff his favorite treat, a small dish of vanilla rice pudding with a sausage sliced on top. I guess a dog really thinks that's a special treat. I like vanilla rice pudding and I like sausages, but not together. Do you? No. But Macduff loves that. Our last book tonight is going to be Bark George by Jules Feiffer. And this is also a HarperCollins publication. George's mother said, "Bark, George." And George went, "Meow." "No, George," his mother said. "Cats go meow. Dogs go arf. Now, bark, George." George went, "Quack, quack." "No, George," said George's mother. "Ducks go quack, quack. Dogs go arf. Now, bark, George." And George went, oink. "No, George," said George's mother. "Pigs go oink. Dogs go arf." Now, bark, George. And George went moo. George's mother took George to the vet. "I'll soon get to the bottom of this," said the vet. "Please bark, George." George went, meow. The vet reached deep down inside of George and pulled out a cat. Goodness. "Bark again, George." George went, quack, quack. The vet reached deep, deep down inside of George and pulled out a duck. Quack. "Bark again, George." And George went, oink. The vet reached deep, deep, deep down inside of George and pulled out a pig. "Bark again, George." And George went, moo. And the vet put on his longest latex glove and he reached deep, 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 deep down inside of George and pulled out a cow. That's what all that mooing was from. "Bark again, George." And George went, arf. George's mother was so thrilled that she kissed the vet and the cat and the duck and the pig and the cow. On the way home, she wanted to show George off to everyone on the street. So she said, "Bark, George." And George went, hello. I love George. Do you? I hope you enjoyed all our dog and cat stories tonight. You were a great audience.